Hello and welcome to NewFilmmakers Los Angeles in partnership with Movie Maker magazine. My name is Danny DeLillo and we're here at the Cameras Los Angeles showroom in West Hollywood, and I'm here with director Adam Linzey and lead actor Peter J. Morton with their film Jeff. Let's take a look at a clip.
Saw some guy chuck somebody off a bridge the other night.
Sure you did.
Weird thing is the guy looked just like you.
You think it was me? How'd you get home last night? You didn't drive, did you? You were wasted.
No, I was a cab.
Does it say you can take those with alcohol?
Mix with antidepressants, you will feel lovely.
I know you think those little pills are lovely, but you're seeing things, amigo.
Guys, congratulations on your film Jeff. It was awesome. I loved it. No, I really did. See, the British, they're like, is he being truthful? What's going on?
Hollywood charm?
Is this a Hollywood charm? No, literally, it was a brilliant film. I really enjoyed it, and it was awesome. But for those that haven't seen it, tell us a brief synopsis of your film.
The film is about a British guy who's been drinking a little bit too much, and it's on antidepressants, which are, maybe not causing him to hallucinate.
Mm-hmm.
And as he's driving home drunk, which you shouldn't do, by the way, over the 6th Street Bridge in NLA, he sees his best friend throw someone off said bridge. And so the film's really about how well do you know your best friend, and who can you trust?
Mm-hmm. And when you watch it, you really should know your best friend very well from what actually happens. Where did the inspiration come for creating this story?
I have a really great friend, Alex, back home, and he is one of the nicest human beings on earth. And I just thought one day, what if the nicest human being on earth turned out to be a sociopath? What if he was lying all this time to me and perhaps maybe knocking people off, but behind the scenes? And one day someone, I find out about it. What would I do?
Mm-hmm.
And the truth is, I probably wouldn't go to the police. I'd still be like, Alex, what's up?
Mm-hmm.
And that in there lies the problem. Like, if you actually got to know a sociopath, for instance, you would probably you would probably go and talk to them if you were friends with them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And sociopaths are more common than you think. They're like, there's some crazy statistic, like 1 in every 25 human beings is a sociopath, right? But there's varying degrees of that sociopathy.
Yeah.
Right. So,
well, I mean, it's a great story, and I feel like you got the perfect casting. Like, you just couldn't imagine anyone else playing it. What's also a great surprise is you discover that Hollywood's very small, because one of your good friends is actually in it, which was a great delight, Pete. It really was amazing. How did you get to be involved with the project? What happened?
It was actually Brits in LA. They posted it on there.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't actually doing a lot of acting work at the time, but I saw it and I was just interested. And I applied for it. The script got sent across to me and read the script, loved it, went and met Adam. And then that's pretty much where it all started. Adam made me work for the role.
Mm-hmm.
We met a few times, didn't we? And
a little bit courting, yeah.
Yeah, it was a little bit courting there. He wasn't committing to me, but no, I could just tell he was really, focused and passionate about the project. So that made me even more excited about it.
What's it like playing a role like that? Because particularly when you've got sort of a history of going through trials and tribulations of life, and you have to kind of really think about where the motives are. What was that kind of experience like for you?
The character was all there on the page for me. I knew him. I knew people like him. He's a guy who kind of self-sabotages himself, so yeah, it was kind of easy to get into that headspace. But I just love the amount of doubt that was there in the scripts in his own mind. So that was fun to play.
Well, I mean, what was amazing as well is that it was kind of you don't often see films, especially in the short film genre, that are like up on a roof, or on one of the most famous bridges. Tell us a bit more about that experience. Is that something that was important for you? What did you kind of want to do something a little bit different? How was the experience of finding those locations and able to film in those locations as well?
Well, because it was like a thesis film for USC, right? Part of it was a chance to shoot at the kind of spaces that I've been driving around LA for the last 3 years, kind of checking out and kind of wanting to shoot on. And the 6th Street Bridge was, you know, incredibly iconic, beautiful bridge. But it's also one of the few bridges that has enough light that you can film on it without having to bring additional light, right? So for us, that was sort of a no-brainer. The problem is that the bridge was closing, you know, around about the time that we wanted to film.
Wow.
So we were on a very tight schedule, and we were one of the very last people to shoot on it.
Wow.
So if we had messed up that shoot on the bridge, we wouldn't have got to go back and redo it. So
I mean, that's
the pressure
a big
was
deal.
crazy.
Yeah.
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 But then there was like the LA River, which was something I'd always wanted to shoot but hadn't shot, and then the downtown skyline, which you see in the back of the rooftops. You know, that's another thing that's kind of so LA that you kind of love. So it's sort of just, it's a little homage in a way to sort of these elements of LA.
Well, I mean, obviously a location and maybe being able to shoot there was a you know, challenge in itself. But what was the biggest challenge? Or was that the biggest challenge, or kind of what was
Shooting on the bridge? Yeah, probably simply because you know, we were doing a lot of car mounted stuff, and we had 7 hours. We'd locked off the entire bridge, and you had 7 hours in its entirety to shoot. And if you know, so there was no time really. So and we had to move the car mount a number of times in addition to get performance. And if you're trying to get performance whilst trying to watch it in another car that's following the car that's being driven, that's quite hard, especially when the wireless is like at its absolute limit. So you're sometimes seeing a picture that's you know, coming in and out.
And again, you're filming on a rooftop. Obviously, your characters are electricians, but you're filming on this rooftop, you know, in independent film. So, you know, you never quite know what can go wrong. And obviously, there's this history of the character of kind of throwing people over. What was that experience like working up there and shooting up there?
Good job I wasn't afraid of heights.
Yeah, right?
You never actually asked me that, did you?
Wasn't in the deal.
Well, originally you had a different location, didn't you? There was a different location we were all set to film at, and that fell through literally the last moment. But it proved really beneficial for us because we were able to do a bit of rehearsing. And Chris and I got to know each other a little bit better, and so we had about a week there, didn't we? Where
it was longer than that. I think it was a good couple of weeks because Christmas came around. Basically, we were going to shoot before Christmas, and then we postponed until the new year, which was then pushing us close to the deadline with the bridge, because that was going to close in like the end of Jan. And so we pushed it back, which was very beneficial to us because we ended up having all this time to like rehearse. And when you get to rehearse lots with actors and play around with those characters, you can start getting, you know, a real relationship there. And these guys are fantastic, so they bonded really, really easily early on, but we were able to play with it a lot. And I think that's why a lot of people kind of get into the relationship or believe the relationship between the two people. They're both quite tough characters to love or like, but they are characters that you can kind of believe, which is the important thing, I think.
Yeah.
And then the roof that we ended up getting was probably better. Even better, wasn't it?
Yeah, for our needs.
Yeah.
Well, by the end of it, you certainly feel for one character, but you got to watch it if you haven't watched it. Otherwise, you know what I'm talking about. Now, this is obviously part of Brit Week and part of celebrating, you know, British cinema influence in the United States and the great collaboration that we have in filmmaking. What was it for both of you to sort of like, you know, alongside myself as well? What was it like for you both to say, right, I want to work and live in Los Angeles and be in the film industry and a film world here? When did that moment happen for you, and was that always part of your journey?
It wasn't part of my journey. My lady had been coming out here. She'd been coming out here taking classes and meeting people, and then she announced one day that she was gonna move out here to live. And I was like, okay, can I come? And she said, yeah, if you want to. There was no opportunity back in the UK. I mean, I had a lot of experience in TV and film and stuff, but I just wasn't getting...
I used to watch Peter on TV when I came home from school, just to give you an idea of how experienced he is.
Well, that was another great thing actually about working with Adam, is I'd kind of forgotten the art of film acting and how minimalistic it is. So there were a few times on set I remember you saying to me, Hollyoaks, EastEnders, because I was doing this, overacting, and it was just really refreshing to be kind of driven back into that. But I'm so passionate about film and cinema, and as you know, I love it. So LA, there's been here for 7 years now. There's nowhere else quite like it, really.
No, there is nowhere else. How about for you, Adam?
I think I've always loved film, and I've always been a bit of a cinephile as well. I think Peter is too, and so he's a big time cinephile. So, so you always dream of coming here, right? And it's about the opportunity. And so I came to study, and so that gave me my in, really. Otherwise, I don't know how I would have come over here and then started working. So that sort of, I always wanted to come here. We're not the first Brits to do this. That's like Chaplin and Hitchcock, and so we're following a good tradition of people coming over here trying to make stuff. And what's really interesting is British people have a certain sense of humour and a certain outlook on life that isn't an American outlook. And when you transport that to here, it takes a little bit of converting. Like Jeff is a film that British people might identify more with than Americans to a certain extent. They don't always know when to laugh because we have a much more savage sense of humour overall. So it's quite interesting trying to integrate your humour into Hollywood, or at least not into Hollywood, but into at least an American sensibility.
It's very, very true. It's very, very true. It's the humor is differently, but then we're so embraced. Americans very much embrace our humor at the same time. Right. So we're very fortunate. What's it like to have your film that was a thesis film get selected for NewFilmmakers LA and put out there to the world for an audience? What's that feeling like?
It's always great to have anyone watch your film ever. Right?
See, there you go.
That's why you make a film, right? Is you make a film so that people can watch it and hopefully enjoy it. And you're always watching for if they laugh at the moment where you hope they're going to laugh. And if they're shocked at the moment, they might be shocked. And that's really why you do it, is just to entertain people, right? And tell a story you thought was cool. So...
Yeah, it was good. We did a screening last night, and it was great to see with an audience and have them react to it. Some of the things that I'd forgotten about, and seeing them laugh at it and stuff. It was a good feeling.
What one piece of advice would you both individually give to anyone that actually wants to go out there and come to Los Angeles and do it? What would you give?
I'd say perseverance. Don't come out here for 6 months and decide it's not for you and then leave, because I think the longer you're here, the more people you meet, the more contacts, the more opportunities arise. So yeah, it's a staying game, Los Angeles is a tough city, but once you start to understand it, it's so much fun.
It's not for the faint of heart, you, especially with all of the visa business and stuff you have to go through just to often be here. It's so much harder just to be here sometimes if you're British than also then find work as well, which is like a whole other problem in itself. So I think it's the staying power of really wanting to do it. If you really want to do anything, and that's the same for all filmmakers, right? If you really want to do it, then you get it done and then you make something good, but it takes you so much effort and energy. So most filmmakers are probably up for that anyway, one would imagine. So,
But the glory moments come when, your film gets shown to an audience and it's out there and you're like, that's what I do all this hard work for. Right. Oh, I get it. Oh yeah, all that pain I went through, that's the moment I'm waiting for, and that's the glorifying moment. Well, Jeff is awesome. Are we getting, in essence, a feature? What's happening? Are we going on? Are we going to see these characters again?
Yeah. I'm developing into a feature concept, expanding the world, making it much larger story.
Amazing.
Yeah, so hopefully that'll be another indie film that we make soon. So, yeah.
Well, we're looking forward to it. I fell for the characters and I want to see more. And I know that it's going to be a pretty interesting film with a lot of... people going over the edge, but we'll save that for the future. But thank you both very much for coming today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dan.
Awesome.